Good day, traders. This is Rich with some price action on the markets. Currently 4:22 p.m. October 2nd, 2020, Friday, end of the week. And what a week it was. Great week this week. A lot of action. Closed up September well. Got to a good start in October. And today continued that pattern. Obviously, it never goes exactly how you want it to go. We got some news on Trump with the good COVID. Who knows how that's going to play out. But that definitely affected the markets this morning. But it kind of pushed it down, and then things started to gradually climb up. So it did create setups, but minimal. I only traded 3 or 4 times, I think. Possibly a 5th time, but I think 3 or 4. And 3 of them were on the same stock, this NNOX, the stock we've talked about in the past. Kind of just set up today, and I had a big miss on it. It seems like once a week I have a hands on the face, like, what did I do? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. I missed this one. It's running without me scenario, and I will share that with you in a second. So the morning started, and I think this is where things got a little crazy, was when the morning got going was the pre-market on NNOX. It was up, doing well in the pre-market. Let me get there. It's going to get there eventually. So you can see here it was starting to climb, and it made this move through 31 right here during the 7 o'clock range this morning. Came around to 31 again, but didn't actually get there. And then when it finally did get there, 31, boom, climbed all the way up to 33 in the pre-market without looking back. I missed that trade. I looked away for 2 seconds on it, and it was just a miss. It wasn't like I got jumped or anything. It was just unfortunate miss. Of course, if you held on to it, it did come against you in the regular hours. So when that regular hours opened up, I thought, okay, this thing's got a lot of momentum today. Let's take an opening candle break on NNOX. And it did. So I took the break of the opening price when it came down. It flushed down. And when it came back up through this level, it went to 31 or 32. No, I apologize. It was 31.23. I got in and I rode it up into the 32 levels. Not 32.40, but like 32.20. It made some good scale outs. I was in for 300 shares. I think I could have made a lot more if I just decided to sell at the top. I put some offers out there, and then it reversed back down. Kind of what you expected on this kind of trade. Unfortunately, I got on the wrong side of it at the end and had to close out the trade. But still a nice profit on that first trade of the day. Had a potential to make like $300, but only made 100 or so. But that happens, you know. It kind of sells that one. So let's go to around lunchtime, news came out about airlines getting money for stimulus for their situation. And notice how Boeing here got to a high of 165.19. And right here it got to 165. So I knew 165 was a good number. And the news came out, and it was at like 164.38, 164.66, 164.77. I pressed the buy button on 165. Look at this thing. All the way up to 169.78 from 65 without really looking back. These are 3 5-minute candles, guys. On a previous trade, I had tried using a buy stop limit on quote. So when I click here, it won't do it right now because markets are closed. But if I hit this stop limit, it turns this one on, the stop price for a different stock. And then I put in 165 on the limit, but I didn't realize that I still had the stop limit on. So when I pressed buy, the condition was completely wrong. The price was like $12 or something like that for the stop. So I got order rejected from TradeStation. I'm like, no. So that was a quick hands on the face because I think it would have gotten filled there. I didn't get jumped. I pressed the buy button and it just went. Didn't look back really. I mean, it came back here, I think on this candle for a second, maybe 65. No, didn't even. No, it just went straight up. I definitely wouldn't have gotten out and it went to 169.80. So that was a significant miss today. Kind of got me in that bad mindset yesterday in the morning where I missed the big trade. On Boeing. It was actually Boeing, and today it did a similar thing. So once that kind of fizzled out and the news kind of got washed, I didn't really look at Boeing the rest of the day unless it was going to curl up to like 169 or 170 again, and it didn't. So the end of the day was another setup on NNOX, right? So it's kind of hard to see, but this 34 level, this line here, so we'll go right there, 134, was a trouble spot for it. I did get in on this candle here, 34, and sold some on the move up to 34.43. The key in this trade was to hang on, was to just, if you took profits and if it comes against you, you got to get out. But this one had a potential to make the big moves, and it did. You just had to go through a little bit of pain, which I don't like to do. I play pretty defensive lately, but this is one of those stocks that was up like 40% at the time, had a lot of momentum, volume was coming in, and I could have just held. And I think the most amount of pain on a $34 entry was 79 cents, so we're talking 21 cents against. 21 cents against. I think it was in for this one was either 200 or 300 shares. I forgot what the total number was. And look at this thing. It just kept climbing, and then it did the same thing, kind of flatlined for a couple candles, and then climbed again to make crazy move to 38.50 from 34. So I missed this move, and this was where I had my hands on the face. And then I saw my power because we have these crazy winds going on, kind of flickered. So I knew to be pretty cautious going forward for the rest of the afternoon. It just wasn't worth getting in a stock that, didn't work out, and I lost power, et cetera, et cetera. I got to be real careful for where I live because my cell surface is garbage by the lake. But, good day for sure. 157 on the day. I definitely could add more. I wasn't risking too much here. I did like this one Tesla. I'm watching, the 420 is kind of like a funny area with Tesla. Came down to 420, bounced, right? These are 5-minute candles. I did not take a Tesla trade today. It's 420 bounce. Once it broke through 420, I'm like, okay, if this gets through 420, it's going to go. And it went from 420 to a high of 423.64. So that was a nice little trade if you took it. I wasn't taking it, but something I'm watching for future trades on Tesla. That 420 for some reason, I guess it's the marijuana date or whatever. They link it to Tesla for some reason, but we'll just keep an eye on that 420 going forward. So again, pretty good day. Let's check it out on the equity curve. So you can see here that I only took 14 total trades. Remember, that's total trades. That includes buys and sells. So I was scaling up through that NNOX, and I was scaling up through the NNOX, and a couple other trades I took, equivalent to 14 trades today. So that's where I want to be. I want to be around 14, 15 a day. I think that's a good number. If they can get 3 good trades, maybe one, kind of fluffy loser or whatever, nothing big, I'll take it. You know what I mean? That's my goal. But I can't guarantee I'm gonna have big winners, small winners. But I got to take singles, doubles, triples, and home runs. That's just the way it goes. So it's a nice equity line, and then I closed up at 157.26. Good day for sure. So that pretty much sums up the week. Let's close this out. Tesla's actually dropping off pretty good in the after hours. I guess it closed with a push down from the 418 down to the 414. So if the market's open, it depends on Trump, I guess. The market's open up on the downside. Be interesting to see how that plays out. I want to see if I can bring something up real quick. I wanted to bring this up real quick. This is a little bit more in the stats. People look at their wins and losses, right? And I see mine. I did have this small loss. This was on an IPO that I got a buy stop run on. I think it was ASO for $2.50. So whatever. What I'm looking at here is 13 winners and 1 loser. Now 14 total trades. Average net profits 1113. Do all this stuff. That gives you the information. Of course, this is where the summary really is, where you have all trades. I won't short 157, 159 was my total gross profit. Gross loss was 250, etc., etc. But 14 total trades. That includes sells. So it's not just buys. This is total. So I think I only had like 4 buys. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five buys. One was that loser. But notice how at 5 buys, I had 14 total trades. One was a loss, so that's 2 right there. It just shows you don't need to trade a lot. And you don't need to trade a large size to make some decent cash. Now, would I like another 0 on this? Sure. Would I like this to be 5 times the size? Sure. And eventually it will be, but I got to maintain my process and continue focusing on trading well, and hopefully down the line the money will come. So I was just going to end up on that. You guys have a good weekend. We'll be back next week, and you guys have a good one. Make sure you comment, like the video, and share it. Have a good one.